The truth is, no one knows what the fuck they're doing. No matter what the media, social media, mainstream media, no matter what the media wants to tell you, no one actually fucking knows what they're doing. And I know you know this because you probably feel like you don't know what the fuck you're doing, which is completely fine. No one does. We're all winging it. And this is coming from a guy that's delivered a TED talk, that's published a book. I've owned a business for 15 years. I've coached and worked with about 10,000 people. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know two things. I know the principles that I lean on, and I know the protocols that I follow. Now, what's really important, and I want to share this framework with you today, it's really simple, and it just helps you go, okay, well, what do I believe, and what do I choose to believe, and then what are the methods I need to follow? That's it. That's all you need to do, because everyone that seems to be winning in life are just doing those two things. And so it's just so crucial for you to be able to go, because you've got principles that you're running anyway. You've got belief systems and everything you're running anyway, and you're following methods anyway. The question is, are you doing it consciously, or are you just running off really, really fucking old patterns that no longer serve you, especially based on your future aspirations and goals? Considering where you are and the gap between where you want to be, is that the thing that's going to actually close that? Like, that's all it is. And so I remember... many times throughout my life, literally winging it. I was leaving, I was 26, 10 years ago this year. And I was sitting on a plane on the tarmac at Sydney International Airport on the way to America. And I was organised this American training tour, is what I called it. Now, I believe I had 1,000... Did I have 1,000 Australian? I might have had 2,000 Australian dollars in my pocket. I'm pretty sure I had 1,000 Australian dollars in my pocket as I'm sitting on the plane on my way to America. 2,000 Australian dollars was. And I was there for a month. Now, 2,000 Australian dollars to US dollars for a month is not enough. And I had 2 or 3 nights of accommodation booked, and that was it. That was all I had. I had maybe a hire car that I booked. I hadn't paid for yet for the first week. That was it. I was due to land in Salt Lake City, drive to Park City, and I was going to go train with a guy called Chris Spieler over at CrossFit Park City before training with Jim Jones over in Salt Lake City, Utah. Now, I remember sitting there and going, what the fuck am I doing? But that feeling, like, that hasn't really left me since. It's just like I've just got better at planning. That's all. How I got to that point was that I actually wanted to go and train with these individuals that have influenced me early in my career. And I reached out to them over in America. I mean, I used to follow them on YouTube and watch their videos and all that sort of stuff. So I reached out to them, a whole bunch of people. I did it 3 years in a row. But this first year, I actually reached out to them and I said, hey, I'm writing for this magazine here in Australia. I'd love to come over and train with you and interview you. Would you be open to that? And I can feature you in the magazine. And then I went to a magazine here in Australia and I said, hey, I'm going over to America and I'm training with these individuals over there. Just waiting on full confirmation, but this is who I'm training with. Would you like me to interview them and write for your magazine? And both of them said yes. And so I used leverage for both of them to get my butt over there. And I fucking winged it. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And it was a ride all the way through. I've actually got 80,000 words down for a manuscript of that book. But in either way, my point in sharing that is that same principle happens with everyone in business. They just get better at getting feedback and creating better protocols and principles for themselves because they're constantly in the arena getting feedback. And so if you're feeling a little bit lost or feeling like you don't know what you're doing, everyone else has their shit sorted out, I can assure you they don't. They just have better guided systems for themselves. And I'm saying internal systems as in their principles and external systems as in their processes that allow them to be able to get better average responses for what they're wanting to do with their life. That is it. And so what we really look at here is going, overhead camera, please, Mr. Cullen. Cullen's my main man behind the camera, sort of. We literally are going, who's the person? What's their problem? What's their payoff they want or prize? Then given that person, problem, and then the payoff or prize, we create a plan. And in that plan, we go, what are the parts or pillars? I know there's lots of P's here, but this is how my brain works, not just PPP. Just as in acronyms or similar. What are the parts or pillars? And then what are the principles? As in, what are the frames of mind? What are the frames of mind I have to have? What do I have to believe about myself? What do I have to understand? What paradigm shift do I have to be able to be this person? Because this is me now, right? with this problem. I want this payoff. And so I need to consider these parts. So it might be business, or it might be advertising, or sales, or delivery. It could be health. So it might be my body, my mind, my food. It could be education. So it might be university, and then it could be real world learning, or whatever the case. What are the parts? What are the principles in those parts that I have to take on in mind? What are my paradigm shifts? And it needs to be from this person here. So this person, what do they believe? What do they think? The person that owns this space here. And then what are the protocols? So what are the actual methods and processes that I have to follow, that if I was to take these beliefs and this thinking and do these actions, right? This is almost like the why. This is almost like the how, really. This is like the what, right? So what's involved? What do I have to believe? What's my why behind doing what I'm doing? And then how do I have to actually achieve that thing? So what do I have to actually do to be able to get there? And so if I was to be the person that considers these things with these beliefs in these areas and follows these protocols, would I get that payoff? And if you don't go yes, then you need to go back and fix this up. But really what we're seeing with people is that they just got better principles and better protocols that are more, it's not that they're even better, it's that they're more accurate for what they want. Right? A lot of people don't know what they want. They just deal with the problem, and they keep with their old thinking, and they don't even know the protocols that they're running. And so they keep running into the same problem, obviously, because you're already running principles. You're already running protocols. The question is, are you aware of what you're doing? Do you know what principles you have? Have you questioned your beliefs? Have you chosen them? Or like Jung said, Carl Jung, do people have beliefs, or do beliefs have people? And so, or I think you might have said ideas, but it's the same thing, thoughts, doesn't really matter. Do you have this belief or this idea, or does that idea and belief, does it just fucking run you? Is it just how you see the world, and that's the way it's always been, and you've never questioned it? Because if that's the case, that's just a worldview that you've clung onto for probably a pretty important reason, but it's now driving the way that you're experiencing your life. And so you need to question your beliefs. It doesn't mean that you have to get rid of it, but you need to see, is that belief stopping us from, or stopping me rather, from getting what I really, really want? And then given that, what are the protocols that I have to follow to be able to do this? And if I believe that and do that, would I get this? If the answer is not yes, like I said, you go back through. What are your principles? What are your protocols? Remember, no one knows what the fuck they're doing, but you can have better internal systems, better external systems to be able to actually get closer, more acutely aware of what you want, and start to build traction. Because principles is your trajectory. Where am I going? Protocols are your traction. What do I need to do to get there? If you follow those two things, you'll go far further than any individual, yourself included, that doesn't pay attention to these two things. So good luck. Any questions, chuck them in the comments. If you're interested in my workshops or free resources, they're in the comments. They probably won't be in the comments. They'll be in the details below. But that's me done. I'm out. Until next time, peace and pizza. I'll see you soon.